Well, Ted's video calls for a response. Thanks for making that video about healthcare reform. As some of our viewers know about us, if they've watched our channel for any length of time, they know that Ted and I don't always agree on everything. We come, from different backgrounds, and we don't always agree on every single thing that we're talking about. But this is a very important issue, and this is going to be one issue where I'm going to be backing Ted's video up all the way, 100%. The crux is that anybody here in America who has not ever had the experience of actually living, not vacationing, but living in any other industrialized nation has absolutely no idea what they are talking about when it comes to nationalized health care. I'm going to try to post a link also to a friend of mine, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, that's his channel name, in Canada. And I can assure you that nobody in these systems goes without care of any kind. There are no long lines to get into any kind of a serious situation when you have a serious medical problems. It is a big lie. It simply does not exist. Furthermore, actually, small business owners have been bamboozled into believing that national health care, because it might raise taxes, is not in their best interest when it actually is. Because once you can stop making those employer contributions, for which you're paying now anyway for your employees, if you actually do that, and many of you cannot do that because you can't afford it in the first place. If you actually do that, then we have a more equitable system all around. People are complaining left and right that their taxes might be raised once we have such a system in place. Well, guess what? I consider myself, a middle class American. I make between $30,000, sometimes $35,000 a year. That's not after taxes, that's before taxes. And I have absolutely no problem, no personal problem whatsoever in paying a little more tax so that we can keep the less fortunate out of a situation where they become completely desperate. Because desperation, my friends, breeds contempt. And that is probably not a good solution to an amicable living condition in a civilized society. So that's the way I see it. So no, I don't mind paying higher taxes. If my tax goes up 1% more, I'm not going to starve. But those in the upper income brackets, above $250,000 a year, making a profit, and this is after taxes, not before, are now complaining that taxes are going to be raised to unconscionable levels in order to get this program going. The reason they're complaining is because it is going to curtail their goddamn profits. And if anybody hasn't figured this out yet by now, Wall Street and the banksters are robbing this entire country blind. 90% of all U.S. corporations, the big ones, pay zero taxes in this country. You can look it up. Do your research. Everything is passed down to basically the middle class and the lower classes. And of course, it's going to breed resentment between, these two groups, because it's going to be harder and harder for them to survive on their own. So don't listen to these crazy proposals, once again, coming either from the AMA, the American Medical Association, which has just endorsed a plan which is, it's not even a plan, okay? Basically what it's doing is keeping the entire system in place, status quo. That's what they want. There are many of us out here, nurses and physicians, who are totally for a national healthcare system. And if you want to call us socialists, you know, we actually don't give a shit. Your fire department, your police department is a form of socialism. So please think about that. It is about community involvement. And yes, you have to give a little in order to gain a little. The greed in this country has just simply gone too far, and every one of us has to give a little. I've lived in Europe under a national healthcare system, and nobody there went without care. And I can assure you that no doctors or hospital administrators ever had a problem driving their BMWs or Mercedes-Benz cars. It makes me angry when Republicans and blue dog Democrats get this fear-mongering out there that somehow anybody that seeks a more equitable system other than what is in place, which is equity for the insurance companies, the private insurers who are winning big time on Wall Street through their stock market gains, and then try to tell us that we should invest our own security into the stock market some more. Well, guess what? That stock market pretty much crashed a few years ago. And if the entire Social Security system had been privatized 4 years ago, you would have millions and millions of people out on the street. You know, some younger viewers may not realize that this is all a big lie. What they're being told is that, look, you need to, you know, don't buy into a system which is just, it's not going to make any big profits. You can profit more through private investments and such a thing. You know, that's all nice and fine until you realize that that private system has actually robbed you of the money that you have put into it in the first place. And I hope to hell that none of you very young people ever get sick and desperate enough to need a social security net when it's not there anymore. Because once it's not there anymore, you will see some uprisings and bloodshed in this country. Because people, small people who can't defend themselves are going to get clobbered. And this is what, you know, I think this is actually what the founding fathers tried to articulate, didn't quite do it, you know, in their time, but at least they tried to do that. Didn't they say all men are created equal? Of course, you know, they didn't include women or blacks at that time, but if you see it from a historical perspective, that is probably exactly what they would recommend today, namely that people are going to be included, and that includes everyone. I don't think anybody wants to live under a financial oligarchy or pseudo-democracy, which is precisely where we're headed, or perhaps we're already there. Think about these issues, please, and give a little. Give a little of your profit up so that others don't end up on the damn street. It doesn't matter for what reason. If we want to become a third world country, then that's probably the surest way to do it, is just to be in line with the oligarchs. Good night.